When Jesus was asked what the greatest of the commandments was, he said it is the love of God, and the second one resembles it. It is the love of neighbor as we love ourselves. We will explore the commandments, how we should love our neighbor as ourselves. The 10th commandment: you shall not covet anything that is your neighbor's. As I stated in the previous video about the 9th commandment, to covet your neighbor's wife has an entirely different and more profound spiritual implication on a person than to covet your neighbor's goods. To covet is a deep, strong, yearning desire to take for ourselves what belongs to another person. Once this desire gets stronger than our self-control, it can drive us into committing even more grievous sins. The church describes covetousness as a disordered desire that can take the forms of greed and envy. I would like you to take some time to consider these two scenarios. Would you hurt the same, or will one scenario hurt you worse? Another man tries hard to convince your wife to leave you and go with him. Or another man plots to steal your vehicle. Yeah, I know many men are tired of their wives and wouldn't be hurt if someone else seduced her and caused her to fall, so he would have an excuse to get another girl. Now, for those inclined to think this way, when you ponder this disposition, you realize the disorder. The disorder here is the disregard for your marital vows before God, lethargy towards the state of your marriage, no effort to try and fix the relationship with your wife to build the family stronger, your selfishness, and not thinking about how your negligence could hurt the children on the long run for not attempting to save the marriage, your lack of love and willingness to let your wife fall into the sin of adultery, not stopping the man after her from breaking the 6th and 9th commandments, and so on. Men of the world get tired of their wives. You, on the other hand, should not. I hope you understand better now. On the other hand, the man plotting to steal your vehicle has consequences that affect him alone compared to the covetousness involving your wife. Surely you don't want anyone stealing your car, but even if you were nonchalant about it, you don't allow anyone else to fall into sin. Both scenarios are wrong, nonetheless, about the perpetrator. When you covet anything that belongs to your neighbor, there is some level of selfishness born from the absence of love. You feel entitled to what is for another person, rather than going to work for yours. Just as the breaking of the 9th commandment is very close to the breaking of the 6th commandment, the breaking of the 10th commandment is very close to the breaking of the 7th commandment. It could also involve breaking the 5th and 8th commandments for both. We have heard of situations where people you thought were friends were very close to you and involved in your business. You thought they were allies, but never knew they were monitoring you and plotting to take what was yours because they envied you and were never satisfied with what they already had. They felt they just had to have what you have to feel better about themselves. The more they craved what you had, the stronger the covetousness got. So they either turned on you, bore false witness against you to bring you down and steal what you have, or they even plotted to kill you and take what you have. They never loved you. If they did, such evil wouldn't fester in their hearts. St. Thomas Aquinas suggests, an evil desire can only be overcome by a stronger good desire. Now, if I was to apply this to this commandment, it could be something like, when I realize that I covet your position in the office, I should instead pray for you to carry out your function better, while I pray to carry out my duties better for the love of God. And when you and I carry out our duties for the love of God, company functions better. Everyone's means of income is secure. The more I do this, the more content I may become with where I find myself for the love of God and my neighbor. Now, this will be impossible if I allow myself to grow in ungodliness and selfishness. The best way to accomplish what Thomas Aquinas suggests and be free of being a victim of breaking this commandment and every other one is to keep all 10 commandments. The reason should be apparent that breaking one commandment in different cases may require breaking 3 or more others to accomplish the sin. And you can't love your neighbor when you keep most of the commandments but don't mind breaking the others against him. Meditate on this fact extensively, and it will be more evident to you why Jesus did not choose just one out of all the 10 commandments as the greatest of the commandments in response to the question of which of the commandments is the greatest, but he mentioned the spirit which the keeping of the commandments was meant to develop in us, which is love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, and with all your strength. And this ensures that you will succeed in loving your neighbor as you love yourself. May the Lord grant us more graces to keep his commandments to justify our faith.